Hello, hey, it's Darren, and it is Thursday, July the 4th. I'm in Montreal, on the edge of the old port again, just sort of beside a building that's not being used. I am not showing you the end of my workout. I just did it. This is the end of my workout, glistening in sweat. And I'm sorry, I'm taking pride in how I look right now because I'm feeling better. And I want to talk about well-being in a moment, but I want to share with you my message, and it's another word for that is my core essential message, my philosophy, why it's termed that, and why well-being, why this fitness challenge is playing a role. So first, let me update. This is day 4 of my 21-day commitment. I've done 4 days in a row. Again, proud of myself. This feels like I've been doing this longer. I did some push-ups off the toes. I did 2.5 out of my 10 total circuits for push-ups, 15 reps each. 2 of them I did 15 reps on the toes. The remainder I did on the knees. My 2.5 was I did 10 push-ups on the toes and I had to drop down to the knees. So the capacity is coming up, which means the commitment I've made is building strength. Strength both physically, but strength in the sense of the commitment and the willingness to continue, and the drive, the motivation, the emotional commitment. I talked about that, the combination of sort of emotional and ethical engagement that makes up the facets, the parts of a commitment. So for my sit-ups, I did something different. I did something called windshield wipers, where you can either have your legs up straight, laying on your back, or your knees bent to some degree, and just drop them side to side, sort of stop in the middle. I wanted to get some rotational aspect to my abdominals and to give myself a break because I could feel it a little bit in my lower back. Anyway, so that is day 4. As you can tell, I'm beaming. I'm really fucking pleased with myself. I'm pleased also because it feels like about 30 degrees with the humidity right now. It's going up higher. Usually I'm like, I don't like exercising in the heat. There's a limit. There's only so far I can go in the heat, but I've been asking myself throughout this process, where have I not been showing up? Where have I not been taking a stand for myself? Where have I been making excuses because I haven't known the reason why I wanted to do the thing, the commitment. So this reminds me of one of my favorite sayings from the Tao Te Ching. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with where you're standing. It's not the first step. It begins with where you're standing. So where do you stand? Where do you stand in life? What do you stand for? What's your core essential message? What's your philosophy about life? What could be your purpose statement or your mission? Whatever language you've used or you've been taught to form it. So I'm going to read it because I have been constructing this. I've had several variations of this over the years, but in the last 2 months, in a coaching program with my coach, and I've got a couple more months of this program to go, I've been moving towards the refinement of this message, and it may change, but here it is for now. This is the first part. Your wisdom, leadership, and guidance are exactly what someone somewhere needs right now. Don't hold back. So that's for me, right? But it's also a philosophy, a message I can share with you. Because we all know something special that's unique to us, that is born of our life experiences and everything that shaped us, right? It's born of what some of our unique skill sets are. It's born of the trainings we've had, the insights we've gained, the experiences we've had with other people, and so on. I'm just going to move this plant out of the way. That might be getting in the way of the video. And each of us has a unique take that can help someone else. It could be a kind word. It could be a program. It could be a book. It could be leadership in the form of the role you have in the workplace. It could be leadership in the form of something to do with advocacy, the difference that you're showing up in the world to make, or the difference that you're making for other people who look to you for guidance, for leadership, for mentorship, or whatever that may be. That could happen in your family, that could happen with your partner, that could happen with your kids, that could happen in the workplace, that could happen with your clients, that could happen with your employees, that could happen above you, so to speak, when other people look to you in a position that you're in, perhaps within a social or a work hierarchy, and they say, this person has something really special and we're not utilizing their gifts. They stand for this, we appreciate this, we want to elevate this, we want to lift them up. That brings me to the next part of my message. It's a little bit more in depth. It's a little bit more like advocacy in a sense, but it really speaks to what I've been passionate about the last number of years. My research into the Tao Te Ching, my studying, and the 12 to 15 translations that I have on my bookshelf, and I keep talking about writing a book, and I plan to, but right now I'm just taking one verse at a time, one step at a time, taking the insights from the metaphors and the aphoristic statements, the short, pithy statements that really make you think, the binary statements that really make you have to contemplate, what does this mean? So here's the second part, and I'm going to read it. You make a real difference in the world every time you stand up courageously and proudly for what you know is right, ethically supporting a common humanity of dignity and equity. This is really important to me, coming out as a gay man, work I've done in various queer rights organizations, standing up for what I believe is right, running a podcast called Think Queerly for 4 years. You know, it's not about equality. Equality is an idea. Everything cannot be equal, just like there cannot be a perfect balance. It's a balancing act, or it's a movement towards trying to find a little bit of equality here and a little bit of equalness there, and that's what equity is. And standing up courageously means you're coming from the heart. Courage, the etymology, the background of the word means from the heart, and that is so absolutely essential for your motivation, which is your motivation, the energy that you get from when something means something so heartfelt to you. It's an easier driver. You won't think about the doing, you'll just be. And that's a key subtlety to think about. So common humanity, dignity, equity, those have been buzzwords for me for years, but to put that into words, to be able to share that with you here and now, I feel better than just good about it. I feel really proud. Proud for me also has a resonance with pride. It's not about hubris. It's not about being better than. It's about seeing myself as esteemed, having the self-esteem, having the self-awareness to be open-minded and reflect upon how I show up in the world, how I treat others, because how I treat myself, how I think about myself, is how I take a stand in the world for how I show up and take care of others. Finally, coming back to the well-being that I said at the very beginning. So there's several principles that I use that are call it the foundational pillars that support the roof of the house. Well-being is the most important pillar. This that I'm doing right here. I haven't been feeling the most well for quite some time. I talked about this in my live video, maybe the first one or the second one on my day 1 or my day 2, that with COVID and post-COVID, I slacked off. Personal trainer for 15 years, and I dropped the ball on myself. I haven't been too happy about some of the fat I've put around my waist. Other people will say, oh, but Darren, you don't. It's how I perceive myself, and this is where we have to recognize our minds affect our state of well-being, being, as much as our bodies affect our physical state of wellness or fitness. I have been feeling in the last 5 days, because I started a run for the first time in a year, the day before I started this 21-day fitness challenge. So it's almost like day 5, but it's really day 4. I have been feeling so good. I've been feeling so energized. I've been having wonderful sleeps. Even the other night when I woke up at 3 a.m. and I kind of a little restless. I felt more rested. I got so much done yesterday morning, and I didn't even realize what I had accomplished until after I had accomplished, because I was in flow state, because I was at my highest peak, being in my zone of genius, because I have been taking care of my well-being. My physicality also supports my mental well-being. My state of mind makes it easier for me to take care of my well-being, my wellness. It's a cycle, right? The two things come together. The mind and the body come together to the center to create this state of well-being. I hope you've taken some inspiration from my message. I would invite you to think about, what's your philosophy? What's your core essential message? What's been the resounding, repeated thing you've always said that's been empowering about how you show up in the world, what you most stand up for, and how you think you make a difference in the lives of people you meet and interact with. From the person you don't know that you meet on the street one day in a random occurrence, to the people you've been friends or family with for however long. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in some way, shape, or form for day 5 of my Da Vinci Protocol 21-day fitness program tomorrow. Bye for now.